Hello and welcome to the S.H.E Gallery Show. Thank you for being with us today. We are very grateful to be here. Today we have a very special show. We are here with my sister, Maria Diaz. She is also part of S.H.E Gallery. She's one of in the board of directors. And we also have one of her daughters, young gymnast, Isabella Streeper. And they will both be talking to us about their story. Today's segment is about family. Today's segment is about roots. Today's segment is about how we came here. Now, some of you may remember earlier on, you met my father, our father, Nicholas Diaz. Later, you also met brother Nicholas Diaz, and you learned about my father's story, our father's story, immigrating to from Mexico to the United States, how he brought us here, how he gave us opportunity, and what we've done with this opportunity is continue to give opportunity. So Maria is an example of somebody who had this opportunity. She's made the most of her time here in the United States, and she's also giving opportunity to her daughter. So we want to remind you that you are live, and you are live on CAN TV. You're welcome to call us throughout the segment at the number found, and you can also follow us on the S.H.E sharinghisenergygallery.net. So please, you're encouraged to call us. So let's start here. Maria is not only an immigrant, she's also a veteran. She was with the Air Force, and she's always strived for pushing education. That's always been one of her strongest of importance in her life, and she's pushed that onto us, her little brothers, her sister, myself. So. And now she also serves her country working for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So Maria, again, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, can you remember migrating to the States? What were some of your earlier memories like? Like, how did you feel when you started school? You found out that there's going to be a new language when you come here. What was that like for you?
My earliest memories initially was just literally just coming to the United States. So. We lived in Mexico City, and then my mom said, okay, we're going to go get together with your dad. And we took a flight to Tijuana, Mexico, and we were there a couple of days. And then one evening, we just ran across, and next thing you know, we were on a flight on Southwest Airlines to Chicago and saw snow for the first time. So that's like my earliest of memories. Then we started school. We lived in a little village, but I don't think there was a school available for us that provided a bilingual program. So our dad drove us to Pilsen, Young Men's School on 18th and Millard, or is it Miller? At any rate, it was not so bad because there was bilingual education, which is very, very important. That we continue to support that, because that enabled me to not fall behind. Mm-hmm. So I was in a bilingual class for about a year, and then the following year I was just put in a regular class. So I think that sort of forced me to maybe pick up the language faster. It was challenging, but I had a lot of support from our dad, our parents. He always made sure that it didn't matter what it was, that we got our homework done. If it was a spelling test and he couldn't help us because he doesn't speak English, he would drive us to a friend of his or his friend's kids. So they were always very supportive in that way, that they made sure we got our homework done.
Mm-hmm. So it was a struggle that we all went through together, and we all helped each other. Now, Maria, being the oldest of four, again, she was 11 years old. I was 5. I have some of those same memories that she has as far as coming on over and seeing snow for the first time. That was really something, and it kind of really gives you a sense of appreciation. So now you're here, you're in the States, you see light, you see snow. We also went to Disneyland at some point before we got to Chicago. So it was really, really amazing to come to this new world. And suddenly there's all this opportunity. But still in the forefront was education. So Maria was a great role model and example to us. because of her, we all continue to continued on with school. She pushed us like a parent did. Now our parents, like she mentioned, they weren't here. They were immigrants. My father did what he could. My mother did what she could. But to us, it was our sister that was probably one of the greatest role models. And my next question was going to ask her, like, who pushed you? Who pushed you since you didn't have an older sibling? But you kind of explained that was somewhat my father. And your teachers as well, were they pretty good influences? You would say that young men provided some of that?
I would say that my aspirations for higher education probably came in high school.
Okay. What was that also in Pilsen, or what happened in high school?
No, that was at Gage Park High School, Chicago Public School. And I had an English teacher, which her name escapes me now. She was very, very supportive. She encouraged me to apply to different colleges. She would tell me, you're a good writer. You know, I never thought that. I've just learned English and speaking it for 5 years. And she's saying, you're a good writer. You're doing this, you're doing that. I was in every club in high school.
Including JROTC?
And I was in JROTC. So she was, so she had me apply to all these colleges. So she was a proponent of higher education, and she saw something in me that I didn't even see myself. So she was an inspiration.
Okay, and that pushed you on, and then so you believe in yourself, and you find out that through education you can really do anything, and then you join the military. You joined the Air Force. Can you please talk to us a little bit about what that was like?
So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So this teacher, she said apply for college, and great, I got to college, and I found out that it was a lot harder than I thought.
Okay.
So I struggled a little bit, but I didn't want it to end there, so I joined the military. And then in the military, I saw the value of education just by seeing how other people continued their education as enlisted members. And so I continued that on. And it was a great experience. The Air Force actually has got me to where I am today as far as I'm concerned.
And where are you today?
I've been
with your career.
With my career, I'm currently public servant. I work for the Food and Drug Administration as a state liaison. But I started my career as a regulator with the Air Force. I was an OSHA type of inspector, and then when I came out, I finished my degree, and I worked for the state of Illinois as an environmental health specialist doing regulatory work. So I've been doing regulatory work for now, what is it? Since 1999, I don't know, 15 years or so. So that's kind of what has brought me here.
And that's pretty cool. So as an immigrant, you come here, you struggle, and all you've done since you come here has somewhat served the country. And you've been a great example to all of us, and we thank you very much for that. You are also, Maria is also a mother. She's a mother of two beautiful, beautiful daughters, Bella and Nadia. Bella is also here with us today. She's a competing gymnast. And we hope to bring her on shortly. She's taking care of her little sister right now.
Yeah, we had to bring Nadia to the show.
So we had to bring Nadia to the show. So this segment is about generations, it's about roots, it's about immigrants and the power of. Right now we're facing a lot of political climate that makes us a little bit nervous about where we're going to end up, and we really want to show the importance of the power of education and never giving up as an immigrant, would you say? All right, we want to thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me go take care of Nadia now.
And thank you at home for watching us. You are live, the S.H.E Gallery Show. You can find us on sharinghisenergygallery.net. You can email us at sharinghisenergygallery@gmail.com. As you can see, my niece Nadia, she loves us. So she really, really, really wanted to be up here, and she can't be here right now. So next we have Bella, Isabella Streeper. How are you, baby?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. This is my niece. And Bella is 11 years old. Now, some of you may remember my sister Maria, when she came in here, she said that she was 11 years old when she first migrated to the United States. Here we are, her daughter, her seed, 11 years old. And Maria has been a great example and role model, not only to her siblings, myself and my brothers, but she's also been a great example and role model to her daughter, and she does everything for her daughters, for her family, that she's created. So we're going to start off this segment a little bit by talking to you about some of Isabella's skills. Isabella's a competing gymnast, and we're going to show you a little bit of her work. This is one of her most recent competitions. Where was this, Isabella?
It was in Tinley Park.
It was in Tinley Park. And what was this competition?
It was a gymnastics competition.
What was the level?
It was level 5.
Okay, level 5. And here we're gonna see a little bit. Sorry, this video's not the best. But there she is. Now, where is this? Is this the floors? Is this what we call this?
Yes, floor exercise.
Okay, can you talk to us a little bit more about the different exercises that are had when you compete in gymnastics?
So there's vault, bars, beam, and floor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that beam is the hardest to get over your fears on beam. And I think floor you really get to like show your skills off. Same with vault and bars. And they're all really fun to practice and compete. And I enjoy doing it all.
Wow, that's amazing. Look at that. And again, you get to hear a little bit of Nadia, her little sister. That was great. Thank you again. Okay, so how long have you been a gymnast?
Probably about 6-7 years.
For
maybe.
6-7 years. So about how old were you, do you think? Do you
It was
remember?
like 5.
Wow. And before you were a gymnast, what were you? Did you just come out and be a gymnast?
I did a little bit of ballet. I think that's what got me into gymnastics because, gracefulness, but there wasn't really more of a flips and tricks.
So you started off with this grace as a ballet. How long were you a ballet dancer?
Probably about 2 years, maybe.
Wow. So you've been doing this for a long time, or at least, guiding you to to be a gymnast. And you've been a gymnast now for a long time too. So can you talk to us a little bit more about the gymnast world? You just explained to us a little bit about what do you call it? It's the 4 different events. Okay, so we have 4 different events, and it's floor. What else is it?
Beam, bars, and vault.
Okay, beams, bars, and vault, right?
And floor.
Okay, so what is it? What are some basic things that you have to learn as a gymnast? Did you have to learn as a gymnast?
Well, really, it's all about like pointed toes and straight legs it's like the basics, and it makes all of your routines look really pretty, and they make it look like you make it look easy.
You make it look easy, but it's actually a lot of work, huh? Can you talk to us about how much work it is, your dedication, your practices? What has that been like?
Well, it's really a lot of dedication, and you have to figure out a way to work things out with your school and with your gymnastics you train.
So you balance your schedule, your training schedule. What's your training schedule like? How much do you train? Or do you condition, right?
We condition,
You condition?
and train.
Okay,
in
what's
one
the difference
practice.
between conditioning and training?
So conditioning, you're really working out. You're conditioning. You're like working your ab muscles, your arm muscles, all of your muscles, and you're just really trying to work on the strength.
Okay.
And then training, it's more of like you practice for your competitions and you practice your skills. So the conditioning and the training, they all fall together. So you have to have the strength to do all the skills.
So you need them both. It's a balance.
Yep.
And you also need to balance your school schedule. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Conditioning, you might think it's the most horrible thing in the world.
Why would we might think that?
It can be really hard depending on what you do, but it can be really hard.
Yeah. Like, what's the most challenging part of it, you think?
There's a lot to it. There's it's like circuits, and we do cardio and all of that stuff, and it gets hard. Like at one point you feel like you just want to give up, but you have to keep going.
What is it that makes you feel like you have to keep going? What inspires you to continue during those challenging moments?
You just have to think about what you've put in to not give up and what all of your family has put in. Even like Olympians or college gymnasts, they've put in so much and they have all the strength and they need that to keep going, especially for the skills.
Who are your biggest influences aside from your family and what has influenced you actually? I didn't ask you that. What influenced you to become a gymnast?
It was when like all of the gymnasts that I've been seeing, like that I've saw on YouTube and all of that stuff, like the Olympics, that really influenced me to get up and do gymnastics.
So you were inspired by other gymnasts and now you're a gymnast and hopefully you're inspiring other gymnasts. And one day everybody will know who Isabella Streeper is. Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier about levels. Can we talk about the levels? How many levels are there to competing?
There's 10 levels, and after that, you go to like college gymnastics, Olympic trials, the Olympics.
So you start off at level 1, I take it?
Well,
Is that an age thing?
It's not really an age thing. It's more of how your gym works it out. So if you're at a gym that starts with level 1, you're gonna start with level 1 because you're a beginner. My gym started with level 2. Level 2 is one of the easiest.
Okay.
But at that age and at that level, you don't think it's that easy.
I'm sure.
And then 3 and 4 and 5. And at my gym, we skip 6 because it is just like level 5. And then we go straight onto 7. And that's what I'm trying to compete. That's what I'm trying to get to right now.
Wow.
So we have to get new skills. And we have to go to some different coaches.
Wow. So you mentioned that you're, now we know that Isabella is a competing gymnast, and I understand that there's regular gymnasts. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a regular gymnast, a competing gymnast? Were you always a competing gymnast? Or how does that work?
I was not always a competing gymnast. When I started at the YMCA, I had to take some classes before I could get to that level.
Okay, so you started off at the YMCA, you do some practicing, some grounding, and then you're able to compete?
Well, you have to go to a lot of classes and you have to get evaluated by a coach or the person who's teaching you. And if they say you can move on, you're good enough, you can go. And like some gymnasts, they do train to compete, but they don't compete.
So it's not that easy, huh?
Nope.
It's a lot of work. A lot of work, a lot of dedication, and you still manage to work in your schedule, and you're doing very good in school out here, right? So that's really awesome. And some of you may not know, but Bella is also a painter. She also likes to paint, and she likes to draw. Bella and I used to get together quite often with her little cousins, and we also used to paint. So I just want to show you guys a little bit of one of her most recent drawings that she did for me, because it's what I had at home. And that's as in honor of Titi from Bella, Isabella Streeper, and this was just October 22nd of 2016. And what does painting do for you, Bella? Why do you like
I
painting?
feel like it expresses what I feel. And I wanted to do a painting in honor of my grandfather who is in the hospital.
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
haven't gotten a chance to, but I still really want to.
You
I feel like it just expresses what you feel.
When you're sad and when you're happy, it's an outlet. So are these both two forms of outlets, both competing, being dedicated to this practice and drawing? Is there one that you like? Well, obviously you're a competing gymnast, right? So that obviously does a lot more for you, right? But you also want
But
to
I also
continue
like all of this.
painting and drawing, and you're very good at it. I wish I had more of her work. She's also done a replica painting of Van Gogh. Van Gogh was one of your favorite artists, is that right?
Yeah, I liked his, I think it was 13 sunflowers.
What is it about Van Gogh that moves you? Why is he such an inspiration to you?
Well, we did a project in art class and I really liked his artwork that I saw during art class, so I was like, maybe I should replicate one of his drawings, and I really liked doing that.
Do you have any other influences as far as gymnast or art or any
Gymnast?
other type of influence, period, in your life?
Like any influence is,
Yeah.
it would be all my family because they always help me get through like hard parts. And like I think of like the gymnasts who have gotten really far because they've always had a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. and they just keep going, and look at where they are now.
That's right. So you would say that family is very important to anything that we do, and I'd have to agree. We just shared a story about my sister Maria, her struggles, and we've also had our struggles, and together we've always pushed through. And that's what family is about. And sometimes friendships turn into family, and sometimes communities turn into family, and that's where that's our goal here. But we have to start in our home front. So once we can have this type of peacefulness and encouragement and positiveness within a family network, then we could start to build outside of that home and start influencing and helping outside. And that's what we're trying to do. And I'm really sure that you're going to be, if you're not already, a great influence to others. So thank you for your continuing dedication to all of your work. And I also had a couple of other questions for you. Your challenges, and you mentioned some of your influences, and you keep going and you think of your family. I remember one specific time that something happened and you really almost quit, and you had to talk to your family and you talked to your coach about it, right? So another important thing is communicating when something is right? So Bella had shut up for a little while. She didn't tell us what was wrong. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? When you realized how important it was to communicate your fears and your doubts?
At my first meet, I took a pretty hard fall in bars, and after that, I didn't really want to do that skill. It was a flyaway. I hit my feet and I landed face first. And it was like more of a mental block, that, because I knew I could do it, it's just my brain telling me, you can't do it, you're going to get hurt again. And I had not been doing those for a little while, and it got to the point where I wanted to just quit because I thought I would never get it again. And I had talked to my family, my coaches about it, one of my closest cousins, and they just helped me remember, like, look at how far you are. It's one skill, you can get it.
That's really, really awesome. That has to mean a lot. And that's also really important. As a family, as a friend, anybody in the community, we all go through these challenges where we feel like we're just going to give up. You know, running on with S.H.E Gallery, everything that we try to work really hard for is always going to be challenging. And that's why it's hard work. If it wasn't hard, then we wouldn't be doing it, right? We want to wrap up this segment. I'm going to share one of my other brother's poems who's not here with us today, but he's going to be with us next week with another great story. And this is a poem that one of my brothers wrote, Cesar Diaz, and it's called Home. We're going to wrap up the show with this. Thank you guys so much for being with us. He wrote this in high school, by the way, and he has no idea I'm reading it. Home. I never really appreciated home until I got myself in trouble in the street. When it all crumbles down on you, you wish you could be at home without any worries or problems. Through your parents or brothers may make you mad from time to time, they are the people that make a house, even an apartment, a house. I love having a place where I can go and be supported no matter how many times I make wrong decisions. Unconditional love, some call it. I call it family. Mi familia. And then there is nothing more beautiful than the hands of those whom you love and have least to hurt you with life. Home has a distinct feeling and even a certain scent you can't find anywhere else. Thank you.